Get to the tower, the sun is setting!
Doc, get to the tower!
Get him! I'm wearing the seat right there!
Doc, you got company!
Hit him! I'm trying!
Where'd he go?
Hold for me, baby! Hold for me! Yes! Yes, we made it! Oh, no. Oh, not again. Hey, Doc. That's a lot. We got it. You got it? Got it. Doc, thank you.
Well, Jack, once again, I'm the man in your way.
The sun is setting. We haven't much time.
Oh, it's setting, Jack. It's setting on your end time. Such a short-lived life. Any last words?
Well, we could watch the early late night live show at 7.
Show kind of sucks, boss.
I don't mind it.
In the era of social media such as Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Paddywhack and Give a Dog a Bone, the general population has come to the general consensus that millennials and Gen Zers have been raised on television screens, computer screens, and usually we are believed to have come rolling out of the womb tweeting #crying. But most of the people don't understand that most millennials had to live through Windows DOS, 95, 98, and XP. The last three only good Windows operating systems. I'm talking to you, Vista. We lived through that. We lived through CDs, which don't work as Walkmans, and being locked out of the house while mom and dad needed to talk. So our generation has been railed for not being outside, not being physically connected, not being personal, which makes our current circumstance rather ironic. Kind of makes us millennials want to say, we saw this coming, so suck it. But I'm not bitter. So in the era of us needing to be closer, but not now, because distance is our friend, so after all the going after us for wanting to naturally keep our social distance, Broadway has decided to start doing Zoom performances. Once again, us millennials kind of saw this coming. You Gen Zers are sort of on your own, though. But it's the Early Late Night Live Show on every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 on Extra Channel 98. We have a very special guest, Francis Sheehan, who did successfully pull off a Zoom performance long before Broadway. Stay tuned. Again.
Yeah. Well done.
Welcome to the Early Late Night Live Show on every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 on Exeter Channel 98 and on our YouTube channel, the Early Late Night Live Show YouTube channel. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell, and share with your friends and enemies alike because we want everyone in here. Well, pretty much everyone, except for you, Eugene. You know who you are, Eugene. Hello, Bob Turnjo. Kate, nice to see you tonight. Hello, Francis. And as always, KJ and Terry, nice to see you all. Yes. Unfortunately, Mitch Fortier couldn't make it into the virtual studio tonight. He has some things to take care of. Kate Eppers gladly took over his place. Kate, you had nothing to do with Mitch not being able to show up tonight, did you?
You have no proof of it. You can't prove anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. You're checking in the mail. All right.
Be excited.
He is in tonight. He is in as our special guest, Charles Francis Sheehan. That's your full name, right?
Francis Charles Sheehan, but
Francis Charles Sheehan. Yes, you know, what a regal name. Yes. And what did you see? You referred to Ryan as what? Ryan, a tech guy?
A techie. That's what we call them in the stage world. If you're a techie, you're a behind the scenes guy who gets none of the glory and all of the scorn.
Well, I believe that you could insult someone. It would just sound like the best nickname ever. the way you talk is like just wonderful, you know.
So distinguished.
Yes, you know.
I do have a very distinguished voice. I've been told many times that I sound like I'm from England, and sometimes I just say, yes, I am. Difference.
Well, anyways, great to have you on the show. We got plenty of stuff to talk about in your segment, but up first is our favorite segment of the show. That's why we put it at the beginning of the show, so we don't have to deal with it too long. Trailer trash. Arnie, what do you got for trailers this week?
Trailers that I know you love. Start with
yes.
in the belly.
Yes, I'm very excited about these trailers. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
All right, so this one technically already released on May 8th of 2020. It stars Dakota Fanning and several people whose names I will not attempt to pronounce because I know I'm going to get it wrong. It's based on a novel, and the description is: Lily is an English child abandoned in Africa, forced to flee Ethiopia for England amid civil war. There she defends Amina, an Ethiopian refugee, and they begin a mission to reunite scattered families.
All right. Arnie, what are your first thoughts on this?
My first thought watching this was, wow, this feels very, it's got a top-notch cast, but the trailer itself feels like it was a first-time filmmaker doing this on his own. It doesn't feel like it just lacks the polish of a Hollywood film or even independent film. So I was really surprised by that. I have a slight problem with the subject matter. If it's based on a true story, that's one thing, but I don't know. I felt the same way about The Help, kind of like, I don't like it when white girl saves other people. I don't know why. I'm just going to put it right out there. Like, can we have a story where they save themselves? That would be cool. You know? But other than that, it just seems boring.
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, let's not go down a road we don't go down on this show. But Kate Eppers, what's your thoughts on this trailer?
It was kind of similar where I'm watching this and it looks like something that's supposed to be emotionally, evoking something and riveting, but I'm not getting that. But I feel like I'm supposed to be getting that, but I'm not. Like it's missing something, and it just kind of looks like a bunch of people dressed up as opposed to a movie. I'm aware that I'm watching a movie. I don't know if I'm getting sucked in by a trailer where sometimes you're really pulled in. So I don't know how I feel about this, but I wasn't excited. Doesn't look bad, but didn't really, I don't know. Nothing exciting really here, or nothing maybe original. I don't know.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna say, first of all, I love the cinematography in this. It does feel like it feels like a drama. Obviously, it's a drama, but it feels like a drama kind of from like the 80s and 90s, where it doesn't feel overly colorized. So I really like the cinematography in this. It feels very real. The looks and the texture of the palettes and stuff like that feel very real. The same thing could go with the costumes. It does look a little too clean for considering the fact that these people are supposed to be coming from like rags to like a really rough situation. Everything looks a little too clean to me. But I don't know the full story on that. Dakota Fanning, I can't remember the last time I saw her in a movie. Pretty sure she was a lot shorter last time I saw her in a movie. I've got two things about the plot. First of all, if she was a little girl and she was left in a non-British place for what my guess is about 23 years or so, or maybe 20 years or so, why does she still have a British accent? And secondly, what is with the jackass father just like waving goodbye as he's abandoning his daughter in the car?
See you later, sport.
Going off.
Bye, have fun.
See ya. Enjoy being a friggin' child. Being abandoned, what's the word I'm looking for? What's a child? An orphan. Yes, enjoy being an orphan. We're taking our, bleak and morbid little station wagon. We're just driving our kid. And she just like stands there. She has that look that a genuine kid would have, which is basically like, what the F just happened? Like, we were all here. We were all here, and they just took off, You see us sitting at a police station. Why did they leave? I don't know. I wasn't old enough to be a problem. I wasn't. So, beyond that, their excuse for why I didn't make any money was probably because all the theaters are closed, but it doesn't really look like that entertaining a movie. This does look like a film that I would probably watch on a Saturday afternoon when I've got nothing else to do and I've got kind of a headache, so I don't want to have too much noise going on. So that's what I would watch, and I would watch it because, that's how I feel. This is actually me saying I would watch the film, so this is pretty. It's not me insulting the movie, but to go to the theater for this, that doctor guy, the Indian doctor guy, and that is the same actor from the movie Yesterday. And Big Bang Theory was. Oh, he's not the guy from
I've seen it before.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So yeah, he was talking in the trailer. That's why I didn't really recognize him. He didn't talk much in Big Bang Theory. But yeah, I mean, he's the only actor I kind of recognize in this. Beyond that, nothing more. Francis, your thoughts on this trailer?
Honestly, I don't go out of my way to kind of watch art house films in general. A little shocking, but I don't. I have to say,
just the accent. We're totally judging you by your accent, just so you know.
I have to say, I have always liked Dakota Fanning. I mean, she started as a child actor, but she was a good child actor when she started out. So there's at least that. I would say probably the cast looks good, a little green, but good. I know that the main man in this one, the one who was in Aquaman, I cannot pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try. He's a phenomenal actor. He was just in the Watchmen series on HBO, and he did a phenomenal job there. So on that alone, I would probably see this.
Well, him and the other girl that she's talking to, they both had good screen presence, actually.
Very
both,
good.
Both of them held the screen pretty well. And I'm kind of with Arnie that I'd prefer, if we're doing a refugee story, unless this is based on a real thing, I would like to just be in the footsteps of, I hate to say normal refugee, that sounds terrible, but like a normal refugee,
What you would expect for a refugee to be, essentially.
Right, so not an abandoned British girl. It's just, I don't know, it's just not normally what I think about, so, yeah, so, anyways, Arnie, what's your rating for this trailer?
Definite meh.
Okay, Kate Eppers.
Yeah, I'll do a 1 thumb up, actually. Just for, obviously you can tell they worked really hard on this, and maybe something might have gone wrong. Something's, like I said, is lacking, but you can tell how much work, of course, went into this, and the actors all look very strong.
Right, and, sparse, that's the word. It feels sparse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Francis?
I was kind of indifferent going into it, so I'm just going to say I hope it's a good movie, but, I wouldn't go out of my way to see it.
Yeah, I am 1 thumb up because I said I would watch it on a Saturday afternoon if it's raining. I got a headache and I don't want too much noise. And I mean that seriously. And 1 thumb down because I got a bad feeling about this. To be perfectly honest, I kind of with Arnie. I feel like it's not going to be a particularly great movie.
No, and I think it's going to end sad. I was watching this going it's probably going to be, we learned a lesson, and it was a sad one.
I think you're right.
Kate's on. Great. I'm not sensing the enthusiasm, Dave. All right, Arnie, next trailer we have up.
The next trailer is called The Great.
All right.
We roll that.
Beautiful bean footage.
So this stars the other Fanning, Elle Fanning, and it's an upcoming American comedy series which premieres actually Friday on Hulu, and it's a satirical comedic drama about the rise of Catherine the Great from outsider to the longest reigning female ruler in Russia's history.
All right.
So, yeah, and it also stars, let me see, Nicholas Hoult, I think his name is, and Phoebe Fox.
All right.
There you go.
Now, Arnie, you are the historian.
Yes.
By that means you've read way too many books. If you read books for fun, you've got a problem. I'm just saying, okay?
That's who you're talking to.
If you read books for fun and it doesn't put you to sleep and you finish it within a decade, you got a problem. All right. All right. Arnie, what's your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I actually really enjoyed this. I don't usually like rude humor, and this has a lot of rude humor in it, but I just looked at this and I thought, I really want to see this. It made me laugh a few times. I do know a little bit about Catherine the Great. I was telling Terry before the show started that she actually hired John Paul Jones, the guy from the Revolutionary War,
right,
to go and fight. I think it was the Balkan War, one of the Balkan Wars that he was in. I can't remember exactly, but I just really like their take on this, and I just think it's going to be fun. Like I said, I'm not usually a huge rude humor type of person, but this I'm going to see. So
I like the based on historical facts, sort of.
And it's so dark, even though it's it's bright, they're wearing bright clothes, the subject matter that they're talking about, I really don't want to kill you. There's one of the lines that he says, I kind of have to. That just killed me.
All right, Kate Eppers, your thoughts?
Again, I agree with Arnie where it's exciting because I love historical fiction, whatever you would call this fits in there somewhere loosely based on. It looks so beautiful. Exactly. And I just love anything that's period, whether it's books or film. But so it's intriguing. I'm a little bit interested, but it looks beautiful. But what's with the Fanning takeover? I didn't realize they were the fan. What's with the Fanning?
Are they related?
They see him every week. And this week was Fanning sisters.
All right. Francis, your thoughts?
Well, it's kind of interesting because for the first time in a while, we're doing a historical piece that has nothing to do with England.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That's
right.
a nice change. This is coming off of the heels of...
Typically all British accents, but
Well, yeah, there is that. Well, they're all played by British actors.
right,
for the
yeah.
most part, so there is that. This is coming off of the heels of the Helen Mirren miniseries that they just had on HBO, Catherine the Great. And also, I was thinking to myself, wow, the kid who, the one who's playing Peter.
Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult. He's just coming off of doing The Favorite, which was also another period drama with him in a lot of high stockings and wigs. So I think that he might like that sort of thing.
He might be typecast.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going to say that typically these do well as movies or miniseries, but doing a whole series on this with multiple seasons, I'm not really sure how that's going to go, because period stuff gets expensive very quickly. I mean, just look at all of the BBC series that burn out after like 2 or 3 seasons.
Right. Well, first of all, Dave Mills says he's a fan-ing. So, all right. All right. So I know nothing. I'm not a historical person. I just dress like older than my years. That's it. So I don't know really much about history. I do want to say that there's it seems like every bit of history is, everyone was British. Like, I didn't know that. Everyone was British. They give Harrison Ford crap for not doing a Russian accent in the Russian film. Yet no one gives Sean Connery crap for being a Scottish Russian submarine commander. So I'm just saying that is not as difficult as one may think to do Russian accents. And I think things sound much funnier if you do much better with like a Russian accent, And so, like when man is walking with 2 pistols trying to kill little bunny, I thought that was funny. And he is my hero now. To me, that his intense look when he's walking through the woods, dressed in a fully ridiculous outfit, does not blend in with the woods around him, and he's got 2 pistols ready to kill a bunny. That to me was like, this is a guy I want to go get a beer with, because it's going to be a story. I'll probably end up in jail, but I'm like, you know what, officer? This is totally worth it. That dude's insane. Honestly, keep me away from him, but still. So yeah, I'm jumping into my rating. 1 solid thumb up for him on that alone. Just seriously, just to see that and his look when he throws the dog off the roof with the. He's like, I love this guy. So anyways, all right. So anyways, I love doing a Russian accent cupcake. Oh, that's Vidanya. So, and 1 thumb sideways because I can't tell about the rest of it. So, Arnie, you rating on this?
I'm gonna give it 2.
All right.
I really want to see it, and I have Hulu, so I can.
Kate Eppers.
I'll do one of these because I guess I'm not so, oh my God, excited, but it looks beautiful and interesting, and I'd give it a shot.
Okay, all right. Francis Sheehan.
I am a fan of historical pieces, so I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up just for that.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's what we got, folks. Make sure you give a thumbs up to this show if you're watching it on YouTube, and leave a comment. We will give you a shout out and share on Facebook. But we are going to break. When we come back, we will be interviewing Francis Sheehan. It's the early late night live show, Wednesday night, 7 to 8, and we'll be right back.
What's going on? Oh, hey, we're starting a new show.
I'm hosting. So are we. I even wore my suit.
Yeah, we thought at this point it would be probably a little bit better to aim at a younger audience, so we hired Kate. And then.
Wait, them? Our names are them?
Shut up.
Except we won't talk sports, we're not gonna talk politics, just entertainment.
That's the same as my show.
Or not that original.
Get out.
Stay.
Terry, this is my show.
Want to keep your job?
You're fired.
Oh, what?
Show's canceled.
Know if I did that before that show came out. Yes, really quick. If someone could do research on what year Phineas and Ferb first came out, because Arnie was just asking, we were talking about accents. Arnie was just asking about an accent I did in a film called Kentucky Killarney, and obviously Henry Schmidt, I think was my name. Henry Schmidt, or Heinrich Schmidt is what you call me, but it's Henry Smythe is what I said. So, anyways, a man with a much more eloquent name, Francis Charles Sheehan. He is a writer, he is a director, he is a performer, he is a good pal of mine and an all-around good guy, and he is a ballsy SOB because his first directorial debut was over Zoom with Shakespeare, and that's impressive to me, all right? I did a short film, and it just had people punching each other and no dialogue really needed. so introduce yourself to people who don't know you.
Oh, well, what is there to tell about myself? My name is Francis Charles Sheehan, and I am the creative/artistic director and co-founder of Abby Normal Productions. And we have decided that with everyone being locked indoors and unable to experience the stage as it should be done, we wanted to bring plays to the masses. So we decided, my colleagues and I, that we were going to put on a series of plays every couple of weeks over Facebook and YouTube, and we would call it Project 6 Feet Apart because that's what the government has said is the limited distance, and that really doesn't work for an actor because we kind of need to be right next to each other to make scenes work. But the key to this was doing something that everyone knew. So thought occurred to me, what's in the public domain and what can we do? And I thought Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is pretty much universally known. There's not a person in the English-speaking world who doesn't have at least some idea what he's done. And so we just got a group of people together, and on May 1st, we put up A Midsummer Night's Dream, his classic lover's farce about fairies and mismatching and mistaken identity and having a donkey head on someone's head, which was really fun. But we couldn't get a donkey's head, so we found a chicken mask instead.
Oh. One must do what one must do.
Absolutely. And what really struck me was that everyone who we involved in the process really wanted to be a part of it. And I think that out there in the world right now, there is this need to see live entertainment, because I mean the whole world right now is bogged down. Every TV show and every movie that is out right now, it's already been made. It was recorded months or years ago, and we're seeing it now. So most of those stories weren't affected. But the stage, musicals and Broadway, it all shut down. Everything from your local community theater to Broadway. I just heard today that they are planning on being closed up until right now, at least July, maybe even into September.
Wow.
So that affects the entirety of the artistic world. I mean, New York is probably the shining example for that, because everyone in this country is locked at home. They can't be entertained. Kids are on YouTube watching junk.
No, but name something that's different from what's happened with this virus thing.
Exactly.
Just,
and the thought simply is that we can provide something during this time, and it's our one duty as actors, as directors, as performers, to create something to distract from what's going on here, because everything right now in the world is so much doom and gloom. But we can put on a play, We can show people that for a couple of hours, the rest of the world isn't happening. And we can still do that because of the miracles of technology. Zoom, Skype, Teams, all of these tools that are helping the business world and keeping families in contact is creating a space that we as artists can come together and build this. And that's what we wanted to do with Project 6 Feet Apart. We want people from different backgrounds, different ideas to come together, put on art, who might never have worked together before, who are thousands of miles away. We have someone who's down in Georgia. Arnie, you were in Midsummer, so you were up in New Hampshire when we did that. We have people in New York City. We have people down in Virginia. People
so cool
that we brought together to do this, to showcase this platform. And that's why this time is trying, but we can still do the one thing that we're good at. It's not like Mel Brooks's character in To Be or Not to Be says, we'll do what any acting troupe does when there's a war on. We'll hide till it's over. Now we have the ability to perform and get together and showcase what we have to thousands of people instantaneously. The last time I checked, I think Midsummer had 4,600 people who had tuned into it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it had reached over 10,000 people with all of the marketing that we did it. And that is something that I could never do on my own in regular circumstances, because there is a need for that now. And I think that the fact that we've found this way to reach people, I think that that's going to help others to realize that this, though the world has changed, we can still soldier on. We can still do this one thing to make people's lives a little bit better.
I love that. And we talked after your performance, and I was saying that it was just really cool to see that you stepped out and you did what you could in this situation, and you pulled a miracle. I mean, you got Arnie to do Shakespeare. I mean, to me, that was just a miracle. Getting a trainer to
Thank you.
Getting a trainer to say someone else's written word is not easy. We don't do that very much. We don't do. No, but seriously, and I think you're right. You're absolutely right that people should be stepping out and. Okay, so quick story. There was my job that I work at. It's a big business. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of moving parts, and so there's a lot of people getting frustrated because someone made a decision that doesn't seem like the right thing to do. And I told one of my fellow employees who was complaining. I said, "Look, you have an option to be a help, be a hindrance, or be quiet. In life, you pretty much have one of those three options: be a help, be a hindrance, or be quiet." At the time, I was just hoping he would be quiet. That was really what I cared about. But that's how we got to look at this situation. We can make the situation worse. We're all good. We can all do that. We can make everyone else panic more. We can make everyone else get upset more, or we can be a help. And one of my favorite actors of all time, who recently passed away, Roger Moore, one of the best James Bonds, he said that he liked the idea that his films were escapism, that people could get away from the world and just go and have some fun for a bit. And he thought realism was saved for real life. He didn't really need it in the movies. So I really appreciate the fact that you did this. Now, you have other projects coming up, don't you?
Yes, because of the platform that we have, our idea was to do one play every 2 weeks, rehearse within that 2-week period, and then put up a show. Our first one was Midsummer. The one this week, Friday at 8 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube, hopefully YouTube this time, we have William Shakespeare's Hamlet, which is a monster of a play in and of itself. The fact that we decided to do this, which is arguably the greatest play in the English language, is a marvel. And this is my second time directing and my co-director's first time directing.
Right.
So everything that possibly could go wrong doing this play could happen, but I have such faith in our actors, in their ability to rise to the occasion, that I know that this is going to be a phenomenal show, and they have worked their butts off tirelessly to bring a great performance. And that's this week. In 3 weeks, we decided to take an extra week off to finish writing the script. We are going to be doing a new version of Dracula, just our own interpretation. So a couple of tweaks here and there, pulled from places that we really loved and we thought worked very well. And perhaps a backdoor for something that we might be continuing on in the possible future, even after all of this is over.
Oh, very
And
cool.
after that, our fourth production is actually going to be the play that one of my co-creator and I wrote, which I mentioned the last time I was on here, Night at the Synagogue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, great! I'll finally be able to see it.
Yes, well, who knows? You might even be in it. That was but
Sorry, was I giving away too much? Like that would be really cool.
Pick me.
We're hoping to bring more people and more directors to possibly do maybe a show a week, get different parts to this troupe involved and get different people. I would love to keep this going as long as possible. Not for any self-aggrandizement, but I think that it is a great way for people to connect who would never perform on stage together. And it brings in so many great, raw, and vibrant elements together that I think that this will start to become a tool that we use in the stage world for performances from now on.
Well, I remember when you brought it up, I talked about in the 1940s and 50s that we used to do radio show adaptations of movies that were coming out, and they do abbreviated, and that was like the first thing that came to my mind. And so, real quick, last question before unfortunately we got to go. This went over really too quick. Real quick though, our tech guy asked the question of where did the name Abby Normal Productions come from?
As I had mentioned a little earlier in this interview, Mel Brooks is one of my favorite comedic minds of all time. Mm-hmm. And when my friends and I were trying to figure out a name that was A, in the public domain, no one had used it before, and B, something that people would connect to, I thought to myself, we're a little abnormal and we want to be funny, so why not Abby Normal? And I think that it kind of fits what we're doing, so we are Abby Normal Productions, because you never know what you're going to get.
All right, I like that. Real quick, Dave Mills says, Hamlet is such a great piece, like many others. I'd love to be or not to be, Ani, how do you pronounce that name?
I don't know. I cannot.
Soliloquy?
Soliloquy.
I performed it for a part of a speech class and really dug into it and how to do it right. Well, hey, Dave Mills, I know a guy who may be casting. I'm just saying at some point in time. You never know. So, all right. Anyways, Abby Normal Productions is on Facebook. They got an event coming up, Hamlet, coming up this Friday at 8 p.m. live on Facebook Live and hopefully YouTube Live. We will drop the link. Make sure you give it a like and make sure you check them out if you are able to this Friday. So, Francis, thank you for being on the show. I hope you stick around for the rest of the show.
It's always a pleasure, Terry. Unfortunately, I've got rehearsal to get to, so this is gonna be it. I will see you guys later.
All right. Good luck, Francis. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll have news and some more stuff. So stick around.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now that we have a growing audience.
Growing?
Yes, YouTube subscribers.
We got like 2 subscribers in the past month.
Okay, well, it's still growing, Dave. Anyways, we need to think about sponsors. Who would be interested in sponsoring us?
Restaurants.
Possibly.
Chain stores.
Unlikely.
The U.S. Army.
Why would the U.S. Army sponsor us?
Why would anyone sponsor us?
Because we're...
Dave, do we know anyone in the U.S. Army?
Yes, Matt. Matt was in the U.S. Army.
KJ, Matt got kicked out of the US.
Right.
Actually yet. So, oh, we're back.
Welcome back to the Really Late Night Live Show on every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 on Exo Channel 98. And Kate, could you do that thing again where you disappear and come back? That was kind of weird.
Wow, she's just a blur. That's awesome.
It definitely works as like the mist background that you have there.
This is my living room. What are you talking about? I cleaned, I vacuumed, I got it all ready for tonight.
That is an actual view in Nashua, I'm just saying.
Exactly, yeah. I believe it. Thank you, Francis Sheehan, for coming on the show. Abnormal Productions is on Facebook. Make sure you give them a like. And if you can, check out Hamlet this Friday and the other shows that they'll be doing. Arnie, are you working on Hamlet with him this week?
No, I had some projects I had to finish up this week, so I couldn't make it, but.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah. But I am doing another play on Saturday.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's actually a table read. You remember our friend George McTire?
Yes.
He played our professor in Michael Lawrence.
Yes.
He's putting on a table read of Much Ado About Nothing, and I'm playing Ursula the Handmaid. So.
Oh, nice. Is it a live performance type of thing too, or is it just a table read?
It's a table read, but it is going to be live. It's a live table read. So.
Oh, awesome.
It'll be fun. It's Saturday at 8, and I gave Ryan the link, so hopefully we can put that in the credit. Things.
All right, obviously, and make sure we get this shared on Narrow Street Films and on the Late Night Live Show. But it is a news segment. Before we do that, though, I just got to ask, Arnie, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking coffee.
You have coffee late at night on the show.
Yes, it doesn't seem to affect how I sleep. I don't know why.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Now, Kate and me are reformed. Both of us are reformed coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
Regretfully, correct me if I'm wrong, but regretfully reformed coffee drinkers. I don't know about you, but I definitely miss coffee.
I miss it, but I don't miss the migraines that came along with it. But that's just me. I quit because I just can't do the caffeine. Unfortunately, I'm so sensitive to it. But I told you, what I'm drinking right now, I actually have a few coffee substitutes. Like I'm drinking. This is literally. It's chicory. I don't know if you've ever heard of chicory.
Yeah.
But it's just it's like a nutty kind of chocolatey herb, and it's just brewed chicory. And if you can see. I don't know if you can see in there, but when you put some coffee cream in there, it's delicious and it's very coffee-like.
Oh, okay. Without the caffeine, I may have to look into that actually.
Yeah, caffeine tea.
Because the caffeine wasn't bad for me. I still drink tea like it's going out of style, especially green tea. But like you, I miss coffee, but not more than I don't want migraines. And so I have a sleepy time tea right now because unlike Arnie, I'm not an animal and I have to go to bed at a certain time.
Murder, She Wrote only starts at 11, okay? I have to stay up.
For all you single guys out there, if you're wondering how to get to the heart of Arnie, Murder, She Wrote in a late cup of coffee. Her email address is in the link below. Make sure you send her a pic. Men with leather jackets get preference. All right.
I would protest, but it's actually true.
What do we have for? Is it weird that I try to pimp out my sister pretty much every episode?
No, my brother. Hey, I have a really cute little brother, 30, early 30s, handsome, college educated, good job. His name's Jesse. He looks like Mulder from the X-Files, David Duchovny. He's single and he's not watching the show, so I'm not going to get in trouble, but just saying.
So he actually be a fan of taste as well.
Bob Turndorf says, I think they sell Postum as a coffee substitute. What's Postum?
Oh, I've heard of that. I don't know. I think it's kind of similar. It's just some kind of substitute. But somebody mentioned that to me once, and I looked it up, and they still sell it on Amazon and stuff like that.
Chicory was used as a substitute in the Civil War for coffee because they were running out of coffee, and they had to come up with different ways of drinking stuff. So.
You know it's not a substitute. Okay. You know it's not a substitute.
What?
Decaf coffee is not a substitute. I used to actually be kind of. I encourage no rudeness. I know it may not seem like it, but I really try hard. I'm funny. I can be abrupt at times, but I do actually genuinely, personally try hard to not be rude. I don't appreciate rudeness. So I'm not rude to telemarketers. I try not to be rude to people. You know, I try not to give back what, even if it's being given to me. There is a difference between being an ass and being rude, and I have a tendency to be an ass sometimes, but I don't try not to be rude. But unfortunately, I was not always the case when it came to coffee, because if I said I wanted a cup of coffee and the waiter or waitress would ask, do you want decaf or regular, I would look at them and say real coffee, because like, don't talk to me about that type of stuff, you silly sir. You know, like, and another substitute is, can we just call boneless chicken wings what they are? Chicken fingers? I'm sorry, they're chicken fingers. They're not boneless chicken wings. They're chicken fingers. They're chicken fillets that are fried up like chicken fingers, and you're eating children's food. It's okay to eat children's food, but just admit it that you're eating children's food, all right? So stop calling it boneless chicken wings. Shut up.
The show has been renamed like 10 things that drives Terry insane that he never talks about. He's like,
really
Terry Ranch show.
That bothers me so much. I ordered wings the other day. They always say boneless or traditional. How about actual wings? Like, it's not traditional. It's just a wing. Like, there's no change in a chicken wing. It's been a chicken wing. It's been evolved over thousands of years to be the same damn thing for the past 1,000 years. It hasn't changed. It didn't suddenly. Sorry.
Okay, actually, this was helpful because, you know, Mitch is here. And I didn't really have any news. I was just going to make stuff up. But, but because
Bob says amen to that. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. It's a chicken wing thing, because everyone should say amen to the chicken wing thing. Even if you're a vegetarian, okay? Even if you're a vegetarian, you should agree that, first of all, if you're a vegetarian, boneless chicken wings are like bone-in chicken wings. There's no difference in a vegetarian standpoint, all right? But secondly, just shut up. It's not boneless chicken wings. It's just a chicken fillet, all right? And it's chicken fingers. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
New show for Exeter TV. Apparently, 10 things Terry hates. This is the new show.
chicken wing.
Terry, seriously, you could run that show for years.
I could run that. I could run that show for years. Yeah, decaf wings. Shut up, Bob. How depressing is that? Decaf boneless wings. Like, how depressing does that sound? That's like a beige Ford Taurus with a slightly deflating tire. Like, it's just terrible. It's just an awful thing that should be run off of, no. More like a Ford Astra van. God, that was a useless piece of junk car. See, this is logging into a lot of my territories, which is cars, food, and movies, except we're supposed to be talking about movies on the show. And I try not to be angry about movies on the show. I really do try not to be. Well, I don't usually try. I've recently tried not to be.
I was thinking, what about just with cars real quick? Whatever happened to the Dodge Neon? Because those, when I was a little kid, I thought those were cool. I thought that's what I was going to get when I grew up. But I've never seen one as an adult. I don't think a Dodge. Do you remember the Neons?
Yeah, I remember the Neon. The fact you thought it was cool makes you wonder why you're hosting this show a little bit. But, no, I understand. I actually used to own a Ford Taurus, so I understand. You were a little kid. Now, if you look back at it now, you do realize that it was a piece of crap car, right?
Well, that's what I heard. I heard it was like a Saturn, because my first car was a Saturn. They're made of plastic, like they're like toy. They are toy cars, just big for big people like me. Well, they're really like toy cars that last a week and then.
I cars, those plastic cars when you were a kid, because like I remember I'd walk to the store with my mom and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want that car, like those little ones. And then I'd sit in it. I realized that you had to like use your feet to make them move. And after about 6 seconds, I'd be like, well, this stinks. Like I thought I had never.
Things are supposed to have motors. Like, so.
I can do.
I know, like, I know, well, first of all, Kate, I don't know if you know this, but my whole family is like, basically every member of my family is big into cars and some vehicles in some form or another. You've been to my parents' house. It's basically a used car lot. None of the vehicles are for sale,
It's Traynor compound. I like going there because you never know who you're going to see, who you're going to meet, what's going to happen. You don't know. It's always something new. It's always exciting, though. When you're knocking on the door, I'm like, what's going to happen today?
Why it was called the compound, all right? It was actually started by a friend of mine when I used to work at Walmart. The old joke used to be, what's the population of Chester, the town I grew up in? And it was like 4 cows and Terry's family. That was the joke. And one of them saw the house. He said, this thing is huge. It's just a compound. And ever since then, it was called, I started referring to it as the Traynor compound. And that was it. It was called the Traynor compound, you know? My dad we used to have a 40-foot Greyhound bus, a 1964 GM Greyhound bus with like a 4-on-the-floor manual transmission. We got rid of it because my mom twisted her ankle trying to push the clutch in. So that was it. All right. And yes.
Like bad memories. I can't even look at this car anymore.
yes, that's what, you know.
But my dad's favorite thing was that it was old, so it would like every time he started it, the exhaust would like smoke. Like we get like
and just birds would fall out of the sky and stuff. It was
right.
Like
So he used to wait until like joggers are going by and it started.
The best though.
Like, yeah, he thought it was funny.
The absolute best was this though. Like my dad called up to get a burn permit so we could have a campfire, and the guy said, "What's the name?" My father goes, "Traynor." He goes, "Oh, we'll just tell people you're starting the bus." So, yes, my dad goes, "Oh crap, we're known in town." Like, how do you think we were missed? Like,
But do you actually want news to this segment? Or?
Oh yes, news.
Good, because while you were ranting, I found one piece of news.
Oh, okay, yes.
Mitch,
All right.
Oh, okay. Do we have time, or do you want me to just skip it?
We're gonna go to break. We'll come back. We'll then do the news. We'll be right back. It's the Early Late Night Live show.
I wish someone would come up with a new idea for the show.
Seriously, Terry, I think we should start talking about politics on the show.
Seriously, Mitch, I think we should start talking about your position on the show.
Seriously, I'm gonna go.
Competitive game.
Competitive, get out.
Got it.
Sports! No, Dave.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Steve. Go home.
Going.
Story time. You're changed now.
So, Terry. Why are you not in the sketch?
So welcome to, we're going to be having a new show that will be on Exeter TV. Bob Glowacki says he thinks I should start a cooking show where I don't actually make any food. I just complain about it. So, I actually said to a lady at work today, she said she only had a soup and she didn't for lunch, and she felt like she was kind of unsatisfied. I said, well, because soups are just depressing, you know? Like, soups don't make anyone happy.
That's not true.
No, you see, Kate, do you like soups?
Oh, I'm such a soup freak.
Yeah,
Totally.
no, you're wrong. You actually don't. No, you're wrong about that, just so you know.
See, this is the show that Bob's talking about.
You're wrong. You don't actually like soups. Nobody likes soups. Everyone has to fight themselves to like soups, all right? I mean, it's like, I don't know. Yes. No, nobody likes soups.
I like
all right?
soup. It's like a
No,
hot
you don't.
salad.
You don't, Arnie. You don't, okay? All right?
I thought you did. I'm pretty sure I did.
No, you're wrong. You see, you're wrong. You see, actually, you're not. You really don't like soup. Soup is like, what is soup like? Soup is like a Prius. No one actually likes driving around in a Prius. They all just pretend like they do. Now, the hybrid car is a clever idea. A Prius is an ugly car. It was never a good-looking car. It was always an ugly car. All right, it like just got hit with like an ugly A-bomb. All right, and no one's actually happy when they're driving it. That's it. You know, it's like soups. No one is really happy when they're eating a soup. They all prefer to be eating something.
Prius. Maybe he can do something with my books.
Dave Mills says,
you want
food
the
show is
news?
something I want to be a part of. Oh my God.
No,
We
Terry,
should
the
do
show
that.
could be like 10 hours long. I think Terry, I want to know what else Terry is pissed off about. There's always a metaphor. It's like the chicken fingers and then the coffee or the soup is like a Prius.
I used to go out to eat all the time with my brother Ernie because we didn't have any friends and we didn't, so that was it. We went out, we didn't even like each other. We had no one else to hang out with. So it was just that. We used to go out to eat. And about once a year, I would order a soup. Just I keep thinking maybe I like soup. Maybe this was the thing that I grew out of as a little kid. I hated soup as a little kid. And I now hate it as an adult. And he would sit there in the restaurant, look at me and go, this idiot's going to order something that he's not going to like. He's never liked soup. And sure enough, about once a year, he'd just be sitting there going, what is this friggin' moron doing, ordering a soup? Suddenly, I'm like, why the hell did I order this? He's like, because you're an idiot. I'm like, you're right. You know? But now, Ernie, I have not ordered soup. Because I'm getting smarter.
This is crazy, because you're treating this as if soup was like one thing. Like saying like, I don't like sandwiches. Sandwiches suck. They're so gross. I can't stand sandwiches. As if a sandwich was just one thing. Like there's one kind of soup and there's no.
It's all connected.
There's
all the same.
Like one kind of
what are
soup.
you, Terry?
I'm so confused. I don't even know what to think anymore.
And the funny thing is, Marcus, who runs a karate studio and works out like all day, all the time, he comes home and has a big bowl of chicken noodle soup, and that's all he needs. And I'm like every night he has either soup or a salad, or soup and salad if he's really hungry. And I'm like,
well, I wonder why? Because Marcus really loves his job, and so he has to remember that there's misery in the world. So he has soup when he comes home.
I'll have to ask him, is this your penance for being happy with your work?
I didn't realize how much opinions I've had about food. I've gotten really into cooking recently. Matter of fact, our show, the early morning music show, Sundays from 9 to 11, I'm not plugging it at all. I had it like the first few weeks, I just started talking about food because Kate, you know this, I always come in because I'm almost always cooking during the show. I'm prepping for the work week. I didn't realize how much opinions I have about food. Now I'm just remembering how much I hate soup, and I don't know why. You know what? Because I bought a soup. Actually, I'm gonna think. I bought a soup, and I tried it at work today. This was my stupid moment today. I had a major stupid moment today.
This is why.
What kind?
It was supposedly some sort of corn chowder, but it was just like water. Corn chowder you should be able to, like, I make corn chowder, you can eat it with a fork on a plate. Like, that's a real corn chowder, all right? Like, corn chowder, you shouldn't be able to drink a corn chowder. If you drink a corn chowder, you should choke to death. That's how a corn chowder should be.
Whoa. So we can just back this up a second. So you like corn chowder?
Yes, this is not soup.
Soup.
It's not a soup.
How is that not? I'm so confused.
It's not a soup, Barney. It's a chowder, all right?
Okay.
All right. And people try to make it into a friggin' soup by making it all watery and stuff is when it gets ruined.
Okay, so I just want to tell you something about this Terry Rants thing. I totally get it, because I drove up to the White Mountains with my mom today because I had the day off and she was bored stiff, so we were like, let's go to the White Mountains.
Right.
The entire 2.5 hour journey back, I talked about the books I hated. And I gave detailed reasons about why I hated them and or why I hated the film adaptations of those books or other books. So yeah, we're kind of related.
So much anger right now in the Traynor household. So much anger in the household. Like, I literally live in the same state as you, and I'm saying the Traynor household. Bob Turndo says, yes, thick corn chowder is the best. Yeah, it's the only chowder, right? Yeah, bacon, corn.
I do agree with you. Thick corn chowder is the best. I just think it's a soup.
It's not a soup, Barney.
Respectfully.
No, I'm going to disown you. All right? I swear to God.
So he's
going to make a will, put you in it, and then just take you out if you keep saying that.
Oh, great. I lost $12.50.
More like you lost debt. Like, that's what you...
You just lost the James Bond, every single one that's ever been made DVD collection.
Hey, it's a good collection. So for those of you who don't know, that we usually do a segment at the end of the show where we talk a little bit about something that is in our house. And I see as viewership is dying down, they're all wondering, what the hell am I tuned into? You know, Arnie is wondering the same thing. So my thing for this week is a John Wayne mug right here. All right. I have a couple John Wayne mugs. For those of you who don't know, I am a huge John Wayne fan. I'm an enormous John Wayne fan. Inside, it has one of my favorite quotes, which is, "Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyways." And I have that quote on a metal plaque, which I don't remember how I got it, and it's actually right by my door as I go out. I got this mug at a, it was some sort of yard sale, I think some sort of church yard sale. It came with this mug and a John Wayne photo that was already framed and everything, a really high quality photo that's also hanging up on my wall. And I think I spent $5 for it when I was like 13 or something like that. And I've had it ever since. I'm pretty sure this mug came with it. I've got a couple of John Wayne mugs. I got a lot of mugs because I used to drink a lot of coffee. Now I drink a lot of tea, which feels like you're not really handling the mug properly. I feel like a John Wayne mug shouldn't have sleepy time tea in it, but you know, I'm doing the best I can, Duke. You know. Let me see. Chowder is a type of soup or stew often prepared with milk or cream. Shut up, Dave. All right. You know, anyone can adjust Wikipedia, just so you know. Okay. All right. Anyone can do it. So, Arnie, what's your thing?
Oh, so this is my thing, and if you can't tell what it is,
looks like a half-peeled banana.
Oh, it's a banana.
Yeah, it's actually what you can hang it from your purse, which this was on my purse for a very long time. And my sister bought it for me when she was like 12 years old and had no money, because I would always tell her that bananas were my favorite fruit because they're a smile. And she thought that was the most irritating thing ever, but she appreciated the fact that I like bananas.
I guess that was Callie that bought you that, right?
Exactly, yes. So
Yeah.
this is a banana for my purse. And a smile for every day.
Yeah, okay. Bananas are the funniest fruit on the planet, actually.
They are, yes.
Yeah, you know.
I actually read a whole book about bananas. I can give you the history of bananas and why they are endangered today.
We don't need to know that, Arnie. We're good. You know. So, save it for the food show. Yes. So, Kate Eppers, what have you got?
So I have, speaking of books, I have a copy. This is my original copy of a book that my mom gave me. I want to say I was in first grade. It was her favorite book. She gave it to me, and it's called From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankenwheeler. And it was written by, I just want to make sure, E.L. Konigsberg. I've read this book so many times, and it was written in the 60s, but it's about a brother and a sister that for whatever reason, they end up running away to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City and actually like staying there and living there for a while. So I was so obsessed with this book. Oh, and by the way, and I just wanted to show you, I have many copies of this book. I actually have 3. I just gave one to my mom months ago, the last time I saw her. This is like with the newer, oh, you can't really see it, with the newer ones, but this is my original. So I was so obsessed with this book, I couldn't wait to go to New York City to, I guess, reenact. I can't really run away, but when we finally get there in, I don't know, 4th grade or 3rd grade or whatever, and I had a little brother just like in the story, and I used to call him Sir Jamie, and I forced him to call me Sir Claudia, just like the characters. So we get there. We were so bad. We started out in the gift shop. My dad took us to the gift shop. We were so bad. He had to drag us out of the gift shop. I remember he had us he never did. He had to like grab us. He dragged us out of there. We didn't go into the museum.
Oh, that's so sad.
And we went, I don't even know what we were doing in that gift shop. I was probably wound up. He was a little psychopath. Not now. He's single and a very nice young gentleman. But then.
Yes, yeah. His email address is in the link below.
Nancy Eppers on LinkedIn or whatever, Facebook. But I don't know what we did to be so bad, but he was psychotic then, and I was obviously wicked wound up and excited to be there because this was like I was obsessed with this book. I had the book in my hand, but I did get to go back many times, and it's an awesome museum. I go every time I go to New York, but
me and Hannah have been there twice. It's there's a lot to see in the Metropolitan Museum, even for someone like me who doesn't like to read, who made it through the Natural History Museum in 15 minutes, and that includes a bathroom break. I was, I was that shows you that it kept me interested. So
that's okay. But my worst moment in a museum was I went to the Air and Space Museum, and I really know nothing about aviation or, space stuff. And I went in there because Callie wanted to see it, and I found out that the Enterprise was there. So we took a picture with the Enterprise, and then we went and we took a look at some of like the moon stuff, like the stuff that they brought to the moon. And I remember standing at the display thing thinking, why would they bring a pooper scooper? Right? And it wasn't. It was a rock collector. But of course, I was so ignorant. I was like, they had dogs on the moon? That's so strange.
I was gonna say cats, because like if you ever had a cat, you'd have the scooper for like kitty. I was thinking of a kitty litter scooper. I thought you were saying there were cats.
All Arnie was thinking was the plane. Anyway, we gotta wrap this show up. Dave Mills says, fine, you don't like Wikipedia? How about Webster? A soup or stew of seafood such as clam or fish, usually made with milk or tomatoes, salt, pork, onions, and other vegetables such as potatoes. He really wants to do this show with me.
I think he should do the show with you. You guys can just fight the whole time and I will laugh.
All right. Anyways, there's no more fighting now because this is a lot of fun. This has been a really great show. Thank you, Francis Sheehan, for coming on. Make sure you guys check out Abby Nolan Productions. Kate Eppers, thank you for co-hosting the show today. Mitch Fortier, if you're watching, you are missed. Make sure you check out Kate Eppers' Facebook channel, and she's got some awesome music, which we'll be playing this weekend on the early morning music show from 9 to 11 right on our Facebook channel. KJ, make sure you check out her books, Killarney Traynor, on Amazon and her website, killarneytraynor.com. This is the Early Late Night Live Show on every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 on Extra Channel 98. And Arnie, who's our guest for next week?
That would be Dan Pelletier.
Dan Pelletier. Well, make sure you tune in next week at 7 o'clock. Thank you, everyone in the Facebook group. Thank you in the YouTube channel. Thank you, Dan Graham. Thank you, Ryan David Rogers from Thorndike Productions for producing the show. And we're out of here, folks. We got to go. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching the Early Late Night Live Show. We are on every Wednesday night live at Exeter Studios in Exeter, New Hampshire, 7 p.m. every Wednesday night. Please make sure to join us next week for more entertainment, comedy, and information that is probably not that important or timely, but no sports or no politics, so there's that. To find out more about my film company, make sure to check out narrowstreetfilms.com. To find out more about Killarney's writing, make sure you check out killarneytraynor.com. To find out more about Mitch and his acting, I'm sure he's got a website. I keep forgetting the name of it. I'll write it down here. To find out more about the wonderful studio that we produce at Exeter Studio, go to exeternh.tv. They're a great studio, and they're doing a lot of cool things. But please make sure to like us on Facebook, and please, please, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell and like, and make sure that you share with your friends and enemies alike, because we don't judge that much. See you next week.